All right, moving into 8.2, we're going to talk some more about perimeter and area. We've already talked about these concepts earlier, but we'll expand on them. And so first off, guess what? Some more vocabulary. And so a polygon, you can think of as a shape. It's a closed figure with 3 or more sides. So basically anything but a circle, because it has to have line segments. Each side is a line segments. So think of a shape. No circles, not circle. Okay. Within the polygons, you can have a regular polygon, which means all sides have the same length. Okay, so you can imagine a square, or like an equilateral triangle is what we call it, a triangle like this one here with all 3 sides equal. This regular quadrilateral, also known as a square, has got stretched in the image. So this should look like a square here. Sorry about that. That should be a square. You could have a pentagon with 5 equal sides, hexagon with 6, or an octagon with 8. You could also have irregular polygons. So those are going to be polygons where the side lengths are different, like you see in those green examples there. So let's look at each of these polygons and determine if it's regular. Well, that first one, the side lengths look pretty equal to me. So I would call this a regular polygon. It has 4 sides, which means we call it a quadrilateral. I guess I should have said that. If we have 3 sides, it's a triangle. 4 is a quadrilateral. 5 is penta. Penta means 5. 6 is a hexa. And 8 is an octa. Okay, so regular quadrilateral, known more commonly as a square. Okay, that next one then, our side lengths are not equal, so this is irregular. And it has 3 sides, so it's a triangle. And that last one, well, we have 4 sides, and they are not all equal, so it's an irregular quadrilateral. Bonus points if you can spell quadrilateral. Okay, so find the perimeter of each polygon. Okay, so remember, perimeter is like if you're building a fence. It's the length you would need to enclose that shape. So I like to draw myself a line on where I'm starting, and then I just go around and add up all of the side lengths. So the perimeter here is going to be 5 meters plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9. Okay, and so if you calculate that out, you should get 32. So 32 meters for this perimeter. Okay, take a look at this next one. So once again, we've been asked for perimeter, and you may have seen a puzzle like this in an earlier chapter. We're missing a side length. We don't have this side length here. But we do know that the entire length of this, so maybe I'll draw it in yellow, like if I extended it up here to this edge here, we know that must be the 2 meters you see here plus the 5. So this entire length then is 7 meters. Okay, so our whole length is 7 meters. And so you also know that on that bottom part, we've already used up 1 meter of that length with that first piece there. So the amount that's left is going to be this full 7 meters minus 1 meter. So length of this side is 7 meters minus that 1 meter. So we have 6 meters on that side. So we have a bit of a puzzle here. We had to figure that out before we can go ahead and solve for the perimeter. So now our perimeter is going to be the sum of all the sides. I'm going to start right here. So we have 2 meters plus 5 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3. And so we're going to add all those up together. And hang on, I calculated 22, but the answer should be 24. Let me try again. $22. Did I miss 2 somewhere? 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 1, 3. Oh, I missed a side. There's also a side here that we have to figure out. And so here we would have an entire width of 3 plus 2 or 5 meters minus the amount, and that I got from here, I'll do it in green, or no, I'll do it in black. So this side length plus that side length gives us our full width of 5, and then we're subtracting 3 from it. So this is 2 meters. And so our answer here then would be 24 meters. Okay. A little more vocab. A parallelogram is going to be a quadrilateral or four-sided figure where the opposite sides are parallel and equal. Okay, so for example, here's 2 parallelograms pictured here. So if you look, I've got this side and this side are parallel, and this side and this side are also parallel. Okay. If we were asked to find the area of this, well, you know the area of a rectangle is base times height. That's also true for a parallelogram. The height, though, is this here. So it's going to be perpendicular to the side length. It's not the side length, like it's not the width, not length C there. It's actually perpendicular to the base. Okay, so it's going to be base times height. And I'll just say here, height is perpendicular to the base. So let's look at that next example there. So they've asked us to find the perimeter and area of this parallelogram. We're going to round it to the nearest tenth. And they've given us some dimensions. So they've told us B, or the base, is 18.8 yards. Okay, our height is 4.6 yards. And that side length C is 6.5 yards. So let's start with area, since we were just talking about it. So area, we just said, is base times height. So here then that's going to be 18.8 yards times our height. Our height is perpendicular to our base, which means it's 4.6 yards. And so we're going to multiply those two numbers together. And we get 86.48. So rounded to the nearest tenth, that's 86.5. And what about our units? Well, we had yards and then we multiplied by another yard. So this is yards squared. Our units for area are always going to be squared. Okay, and then we were also asked to figure out the perimeter. So remember, perimeter is the length to enclose the shape. So here we've got 18.8, and we can do this 2 ways. I'm just going to go around the shape. So we've got 18.8 plus 6.5 plus this other side length here would also be 18.8. And then plus that final side length over here is going to be 6.5. And so when you add all of those up, you will get 50.6 yards. Now, the other way you could have done that one is you could have said, just like with a rectangle, the perimeter is going to equal 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, because you know those lengths are equal, the length on the top and bottom are equal, and the side length on either side are equal. And so then you'd have 2 times 18.8 yards plus 2 times 6.5 yards, and you'll get the same answer there. Okay, so that's parallelograms. Let's move on to triangles. So triangles, I already told you, have a really cool property that we're going to talk about in a later section. Right now, we're going to look at the area and the base, or area and the perimeter of them. So the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So the way I think of this is just thinking about a right triangle. So if we had a rectangle, we know its area would be base times height. If I imagined dividing that area into 2, now I have 2 equal areas, which both happen to be triangles here. And so the area of either of those triangles is going to be 1/2 of what the area of the rectangle was. So 1/2 base times height. And that's actually true for any triangle, no matter what the shape. Once again, height, remember, just like for parallelograms, the height is perpendicular to the base. So in this example here, you can see that we've got a base and then our height there is drawn at a right angle to it. In that other example, the base and height are shown, height once again perpendicular to the base. It happens to be a side length in that case. Okay, so let's find the perimeter and area of each of these triangles. So let's start with area. So we just said area was 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, our base here is 21. By the way, that little symbol there means feet. So when you have it, almost looks like an apostrophe, that means feet. So we have 21 feet. I'm just going to write FT. And then we're multiplying by a height of 8 feet. Okay, so on your calculator, you can go, I don't know if your calculator is smart enough to just go 1 divided by 2. What I would do is 1 divided, well, here, I'm just going to try it. 1 divided by 2 times 21 times 8. And is your calculator smart enough? So that will give you the right answer of 84. The other way you could do it is convert that 1/2 to a decimal of 0.5 before multiplying, or go 1/2 and then hit equals and then multiply by the other things. But my calculator at least is able to do that. I get the right answer of 84. And what are my units here? So my units here would be feet squared. Okay, and then we were also asked to figure out the perimeter. So perimeter is going to be the sum of all the sides. It's how much fencing we would need if we were going to enclose this with a fence. You'll have to forgive me, I'm a little obsessed with fences with all the deer that get into my place. Okay, so I'm going to start there arbitrarily, and I've got 10 feet plus 21 feet plus 17 feet. Okay, and so what does that give us? And so I get 48 feet. Or I could write FT, either way. Okay, so pause this video and try that next one. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to try this one. So area, it's a triangle, so it's going to be 1/2 base times height. And so that is going to be 1/2 of 14 times 5. And so if we calculate that out, what do we get? I get 35. There's no units here, so you can either just write the for 35, or if you want to be extra specific to show there's no units, I'm just going to say that's units squared. Whatever the units were, we're squaring them now. Okay, perimeter, we're going to go around the outside edge. So we get 6 plus 14 plus 12. And that will give us 32. So 32 units. Okay, and that is triangles. Our last shape is trapezoids. So here we're asked to find the perimeter and area of each trapezoid. So what you need to know, let's do area first, is the formula for area. This is on your formula sheet. So if you look on your formula sheet, before the conversion factors, about a page before the conversion factors, you'll find geometric formulas. And you should find a trapezoid on there. So a trapezoid is this quadrilateral shape here, which only has one set of parallel sides. Okay, and so let's find it. There it is, near the bottom, trapezoid. It tells us the area is 1/2 times our height times A plus B, where A plus B are these sides that are parallel. They're your parallel sides. Okay, and our height here is that 10 centimeters. So now we can calculate area. So area is going to be 1/2 of height is 10 centimeters times A plus B, so 6 centimeters plus 20 centimeters. Okay, and so you all know from BEDMAS that we're going to start by doing what's in the brackets there. So we're going to start with that addition, which gives us 26 centimeters. Now we can do our multiplication. So we're going to have 1/2 or 0.5 times 10 times 26. And I get 130. What are our units here? So our units here would be centimeters squared. So that's our area. Okay, we're also asked to find perimeters. So that's going to be the sum of all of the sides. So I'm arbitrarily going to start right here. And so my perimeter is going to be 12 plus 20 plus 16 plus 6. And so what does that give us? And so I get 54. And our units here, this is centimeters, so it's just length. Our units here are just centimeters. So there's perimeter and area of a trapezoid. Go ahead and pause this video and try that next trapezoid on its own, on your own. Okay, and let's do the area and perimeter of this trapezoid together now. So area, what am I going to do this? I guess we'll do it down here. Area is 1/2 base times height. Oh, sorry, no, it's not for a trapezoid. Area is 1/2 times H times A plus B. Okay, and sometimes it's helpful to label our sides. Our height here is this 15. Our A and B are our parallel sides. So that's going to be this 13 and this 29 here. Okay, so we can plug in our numbers. So we've got 1/2 times 15 times 13 plus 29. We're going to start by doing that addition first. So 13 plus 29, I think is 42. 42. Okay, now we can do the multiplication. And I get 315. There's no units here, so I'm just going to write units squared. Whatever our units were, we would have squared them. Okay, and then perimeter. So we're going to do perimeter of this. So that's the sum of all of the sides. I will start that here arbitrarily. So it's going to be 17 plus 29 plus 17 plus 13. Okay, and when you add all that up together, you should get 76, and I'll just call it units.